What is it about today's young boxing stars that sends seasoned ring warriors scurrying for their bifocals and pension paperwork? Sit back while we unravel the fascinating cocktail of skill,
and subscribe.
swagger, and subtle insanity that puts fighters like Xander Zayas and Bruce Shu Shu Carrington atop the mountain of boxing's next generation of stars, where the air is as thin as the patience of their would-be rivals, and the spotlight is hot enough to roast a Thanksgiving turkey. Let's start at the epicenter of the hype quake, Xander Zayas. Now you may wonder what makes this kid from Puerto Rico via Florida tick in a division where jaws shatter like glass ornaments and egos deflate quicker than an air mattress at a kid's sleepover. Zayas is built with a DNA sequence coded for greatness, a dazzling fusion of unreal amateur pedigree, a professional record so pristine it could double as the countertop in a billionaire's kitchen, and knockout power that would alarm your local power grid. For those who enjoy watching others get deconstructed with laser precision, meet your new favorite fighter. He's undefeated, slicing through opponents with a rare blend of aggression and surgical control, seemingly unburdened by the laws of physics or common sense. In fact, the only thing he hasn't managed to knock out yet is Father Time, though we're sure he's studying the tape. What separates Zayas from the herd is not just that he wins, but how he does it. He's a technician on the outside, an executioner on the inside. And somewhere in between, he finds time to drop jabs with the timing of a metronome and plant combinations that look choreographed by a particularly violent ballet instructor. His stamina is relentless, his defense is slippery, and his ring IQ blows brighter than the Las Vegas Strip on payday. Not content just being a highlight reel machine, Zayas has mastered ringcraft and showmanship. He knows how to sell the drama, how to build the pressure, and then detonate excitement the way most of us detonate microwavable popcorn. Now, if you're a fan of hand speed, a phenomenon sometimes measurable only by high-speed camera, then you need to spend a few rounds with Bruce Shu Shu Carrington. This Brooklyn native, and let's face it, anything out of Brooklyn is either going to punch you or hand you a fresh bagel, has hands so quick they may qualify as a teleportation device. But speed alone doesn't make a prospect. Carrington is a tactician, dazzling not only with quick strikes, but with anticipation and patience. He stands in front of world-class opponents, reads them like the side effects on a vitamin bottle, and then unleashes an arsenal that leaves even seasoned pros staring at their cornermen, wondering if they've gone off script. While Carrington's hands are the headline, his mentality is the story. His ring demeanor is unflappable, possessing a coolness under fire that has broken less talented fighters before the second round. He is one of the few up-and-comers who can control the tempo of a fight, accelerating and decelerating the action with the skill of an F1 driver navigating rush hour. It's no coincidence that he's been awarded for his prospects. Everyone with a pair of eyes and possibly a working nose can smell the future championship bubbling beneath his careful exterior. And let's talk about power. Carrington can send a guy from standing upright to where am I Ville in the time it takes you to sneeze. His knockouts are so picturesque, they've started to appear in modern art galleries under the title The End. But why are these two and their cohort of young bloods consistently rising above the rabble of hungry, ambitious hopefuls across the boxing world? The answer, as always, is found in the overlap between talent and attitude. Start with their work ethic. Both Zayas and Carrington are relentless in training. Stories abound about their tenacity in the gym, their appetite for improvement, and an insatiable craving for perfection. Where some prospects are content to coast on natural ability, these two are plowing through hours of film study and sparring that would make an over-caffeinated coach proud. They don't simply want to win, they want to dominate. Next, consider their teams. Both of these fighters are surrounded by trainers, promoters, and support networks who are not in the business of building B-list players. They're getting star-level grooming, publicity, and matchmaking. When your support crew believes you could be the next cash cow, you tend to get all the best resources: nutritionists, psychologists, mitt holders with legendary mitt-holding status, the works. Add to that the science of modern sports training and the magic of wise older pros to whisper secrets into their shell-like ears, and you have a recipe for future kings of the ring. There's also the mental side, arguably the most critical element. Champions are forged more in the mind than in the muscle, and the bright lights and high expectations that have cooked so many before seem only to fuel these young phenoms. Zayas and Carrington are at ease with pressure, thriving in arenas filled to the rafters, where the crowd is one missed punch away from turning on you faster than boxing Twitter after a split decision. They've both turned main event stages into their private playgrounds, celebrating victories not with relief, but with the swagger of movie stars at the Oscars. That's not all. Their adaptability is next level. When faced with adversity in the ring, blood, swelling, or the suspiciously motivated underdog, they adjust on the fly. Zayas, known for his early aggression, is also capable of shifting into a measured, tactical rhythm. Carrington, initially all speed and flash, can grin and grind out tough rounds with grit and intelligence. Both have demonstrated that rare knack for reading their opponents early and making micro-adjustments. A jab here, a step back there, that shift the sands of a fight in subtle but decisive ways. Let's not ignore appeal. Boxing is a business after all. These guys have the rare charisma that draws in fans who may not know a double jab from a ham sandwich, but who can recognize a star when they see one. Zayas brings the pride of Puerto Rico with him, uniting fans across cultures and continents. Carrington, repping Brooklyn, blends his roots into every performance, embodying the spirit of a borough that lives for big moments. They're telegenic, likable, quotable, and most importantly, unafraid to stir the pot with a bit of good-natured trash talk. Among the broader class of rising stars, the same chemistry is bubbling beneath the surface. The new wave, fighters like Moses Atalma, Abdullah Mason, and more, are following the blueprint. Mixed supreme talent, elite coaching, savvy management, and an ego with the structural integrity of a battleship. They're all hell-bent on becoming global attractions, savvy not only about the sweet science, but about TikTok shoutouts, influencer showdowns, and the black magic that is building a personal brand in the digital boxing era. But let's not pretend it's all rainbows and highlight reels. For every Zayas and Carrington, there are cautionary tales scattered along the hard, unforgiving road to the top. Fighters whose careers collapsed under bad matchmaking, ill-timed injuries, or simply the crushing psychological weight of trying to carry boxing's hopes on their shoulders. That's what makes the ascent of today's young superstars even more impressive. They are navigating the sharkiest of waters in a sport where no one is ever more than one punch away from irrelevance. So what makes Xander Zayas, Bruce Shu Shu Carrington, and their contemporaries truly the best young fighters in boxing? It's the intangible alchemy of talent, audacity, discipline, and a bionic sense of self-belief. Never quite bordering on delusion, but always enough to walk through Vegas like they own the place. They are at the vanguard of a generation that sees titles not as the goal, but as prerequisites to global stardom. Every fight is a viral audition. Every punch thrown is a message not just to current champions, but to the very concept of athletic limits. If you want to understand what sets them apart, tune in on any given Saturday, watch the bright lights flicker, and count how many grown men with chiseled jaws and lifelong sparring experience suddenly remember urgent appointments outside the ropes. Watch the swagger of Zayas, the composure of Carrington, and realize that in a brutal sport built on cycles of hope and heartbreak, these are the fighters making sure the next act of boxing's long-running soap opera is anything but dull. It's a wild new era, and you'd best be watching from the front row, preferably with popcorn, but not if you value your teeth as much as these young men value the taste of victory. In short, it's not just fists that are flying, it's the myths of what youth and promise can achieve, landing one punch at a time.